Good morning, everyone. This is Alex. I'm from HK01. Today, my topic is from 0 to 1, Hong Kong 01 Internet transformation with open source. Okay, let's introduce myself. I'm a pure tech guy. I'm starting coding for a long time. I'm from mainland China, staying in Hong Kong for more than 10 years. This is my team, yeah. Why is it cutting? So it's cut for the. Okay, so let's continue. So this is my team. So we love hiking. The red one is me and my daughter. So we play together, work hard together. So my secret interest is researching insects. And also bugs. So you can see a programmer, a technology guy still have life. Okay. So today I will talk about what's Hong Kong 01, why we run on open source, and how we adopt. I assume most of people here is a tech guy, right? So who is coding here? Raise your hands. Who is PM? Okay. So when we start something, when we improve something, so we also need to ask why, what, how. So that's very important. So most of case, a programmer just told by PM, oh, you should do something, you should do something. You just tell me what to do and how to do that. But I want everyone can fight with your PM. So why you do that? So that's very, very important. So I think most of people knew Hong Kong 01 from Facebook, from web, or from our apps. So Hong Kong 01 is a growing Hong Kong internet company. We start our business from media. So in last year, we finished like the traditional media to digital media transformation. But this year, our focus will be on the build a lifestyle service platform for Hong Kong people. So you can say media is our entry point of the people, and we want to dig more things for our users. So overall infrastructure is built on open source and also some third-party service. I will introduce the detail later. So my team is almost 90 people here. So including the engineer, including the PM, UX, data, DevOps, and also QA engineers. The whole team is run a startup methodology. I see our team is a incubator. So we separate a squad in my team. A few projects run parallel. This is the method we run our team. And you can say this is our screen of our app. So the left one is a traditional media one. But you can see in the middle, we just launched our wallet. So you can use Hong Kong 01 to pay for some items or buy food or buy some e-ticket. And in the right-hand side, this is the service we launched, including the weather, including some e-commerce, including some offline market things, including something like the delivery rule will launch very, very soon. So this is a beta version, so you cannot see the so many services in the public versions. And we also, this is some screen. Just say, we built very, very successful campaign for Hong Kong marathon game. And we also do some easy part to sell the shoes. So far, we have still a long time to go. In Android part, we used to be #1 of Hong Kong, the top one app of the overall the news sector. And in the overall rankings, we are ranked on the top 30. We quite care about the user experience. We are quite care about your feedback, quite care about the rating. So that's our business. So when we say why we use open source in HK01, everyone say, okay, open source is free, right? So it's good. Open source is fast. Open source is have a great community. But why? Besides those reasons, the top 3 reasons we chose open source to help us to build our technology is about system scalability and stability, understand users by big data, and make an open team culture. It's very important. So when I joined HK01, it's still quite a traditional digital company. The system is integrated very tight. That means when we do some upgrade or want to upgrade some technology, add some features, even break down some part of the whole system, it needs much time, and no one knows the whole pictures. So the first thing we do in HK01 is migrate to microservice infrastructure. So the right-hand side is the previous infrastructure, is all-in-one part. The right-hand part is we separate the microservice one by one. And each service have their storage, have their caching, have their auto-scaling, have their monitoring. Even one service down, we have auto failover to make it always on. And user interface part is connect to the multi-services. They connect each other and transfer the data each by each. And even part of the service down, we still have a user interface to our users. So that's the first thing we do. We are open source. And when we separate so many microservices, we almost have more than 50 services so far. We found manage the microservices is very hard, and we don't have those huge human resources to manage that. So that's why we try to find some open source solution to make it easy. So we found some solution is very popular. It can handle hundreds of microservices, and it can do the self-service discovery. Even can help us to handle the high availability and the scalability. Last, it can help us to do the resource scaling. When we move to microservice, most people will ask, like, okay, you separate one big service to like maybe 10 or 20 services. Will it increase your cost? But when we do use some Kubernetes to run that, we can run a multi-Docker container in one physical machines. It will not increase your cost. It will help you save your cost, actually. So the second part is, so far most of people see us a media company, but we have huge traffic. HK01 have more than 1 million unique user visits per month. So we have 10 of millions data every day. It's including like the page views, user actions. Okay, hello? Hello, hello, okay. I like to move, actually. It's including page views, user actions, like some e-commerce payment events, also have some notification clicks. So we track users' data, we track their behavior, we try to mine that, we use open source as infrastructure, and on top of that, we do much job about those data. Firstly, we do some dashboard to help us make right decision for our business. And second part, we do not only A/B tests, we do bucket tests. We do like 10 UI tests at the same time, and we'll push our personalization mobile push to our users. They have only push their interest things. And we also do our newsfeed. We do our user acquisition and retentions. I will introduce the detailed technology later about that part. And the most important is open source help us, give us an open mind, open culture. You know, in Hong Kong, we are very hard to hiring engineer. Even more harder to hire the best engineer. The engineer have open mind. Using open source, join like this kind of events and contribute the open source on GitHub, we find the best engineer in this market. And open source can train the whole team open mind. So one way communication with PM, one way communication each other, even other companies. Or if we use same open source software, or we are in the same community, it's quite easy to connect each other and get to alignment from each other. So I say open source help us open mind, adopt open source. We use a lot of open source things in our technology stack, and we also contribute a few of this. I forgot, we contributed 3 or 4 open source part. So the whole HK01 engineering team, tech team is engineer culture-driven team. So we wish to maintain this for a long time. Honestly, in Hong Kong, it's quite unique. So at least for myself, I quite enjoy my team environment. Okay, this is a part of our tech stack. Half of your is a tech guy, right? So I don't think you are this quite new for you guys. We just separate it to 3 layers. The first layer is the infrastructure. So our infrastructure is mainly on the AWS. Part of this on GCP and the Ali Cloud. We use Kubernetes and Docker to do our microservice infrastructure. We use Ansible to do the automatic deployment. And we use Spark, MongoDB, and TensorFlow to do our big data job, do some the recommendation and the predictions. We use GitHub and Travis CI to do our automatic continuous integration and deployment. So on top of the infrastructure layer, so we use Firebase a lot. We use serverless framework a lot. So serverless is very good. So you not need to maintain your whole infrastructure. It can scale by itself. So I quite recommend the fast-growing company to move to serverless framework. On top of that is quite common actually, React, Vue.js, something like this, Kotlin on the Android development. But the most important is we use React Native in most of our apps. So if you download HK01 app from App Store or Google Play, the app you see is 90% is built up from the React Native. So some people will concern React Native is not native. Is that the performance have some problem? So yes, we made some problem when we just migrate from the native to React Native. But after more than half years, we do some our fix or contribute on React Native. So it can help us to it's already be faster. So you know the app screen's limitation is 60 frame per second. But in our React Native apps, we can do like the 55. So it's quite great. And it can really speed up your developer speed. Okay. So this is the it's be cut. This is the whole HK01 microservice overview I just list a few of this. We do payment as a microservice. We do membership authentication as a microservice. We do the data as a microservice. Both online and offline events, even our apps, web, campaign side, they will all call our microservice to collect users' data. And we do reactions, survey, comment like microservice. We do media like microservice. We do video. We do image recognition as microservice. If you use HK01 apps, we do the chart standard marathon games. So we use the image recognition to recognize the numbers and a user face. We do search. We do ad. We do crowd frame, we do coupon, we do e-commerce. That's all is microservice. That means when we build a new business, when we do a new product, all the service already here. All the service can scale up by themselves. All the service support multi-app ID. When we require my team to do the microservice, I say, okay, you can say the great microservice is Facebook comment. When you apply app ID, you just use Facebook comment SDK, you can include the comment everywhere in your apps, in your mobile side, or just use their API. If you want to customize the UI, you just use this. This is our model. So I require every microservice like this. We are still on the way to do that, but that's our requirement. Okay, give you a real example. So this is a HK01 event. So left hand is the UI of event. It's like this event, we have a website or we have a link to introduce these events, and we also can resolve the seat, even get the payment, or resolve some speech. It's like the Alex1 speech or after speech for that. So when we do that, we only need to build a serverless API in the middle and make a UI. We can use our in-house resources to do that. We also can use the outsource to do that. But all the secret things is behind. So it's including our common service, it's including our coupon service, data, RSVP service, and payment service. So we use a common service to write comment, read comment, like, something like this. We use coupon service is give you a coupon. Maybe you can get a free coffee in the events. The data service do the data collection. We track the user floor. We track why the user leave the event. We track this user joined the speech 1, 2, 3, 4. For the RSVP is like you have this badge to do that. And we also have payment support like your credit card, Alipay, even WeChat, something like this. So in HK01, we wish all the new business have this model. So our team will separate like a platform team. They are holding building on the platform or the microservice, and also application team. They can run their business very, very fast based on the services. So this is model in HK01. So all those microservices is in our container infrastructure. The container infrastructure is built on the Docker and the Kubernetes. It's not very high tech, actually. We just use this. Most of you guys use this already, right? We have a data center in Singapore and the US Bay Area. So we do that to do the hot auto failover, like I mentioned, to protect proactive the real-time monitoring and handling the spike. So this is our microservice. So so many people talk microservice for a long time. But I didn't see any company do it like HK01. We really put our very hard work to separate the things one by one. Sometimes it's a dirty job, but if you stick to do that, so after like the few months, you will get quite good result. So when you start a new business, when you start a new idea, when your engineer or PM have, okay, I have a bingo things, it maybe can dominate the market. So you just do that. Just one or two engineer or US can make a great product based on the whole microservice infrastructure. So this is that part. Another part is quite engineering. It's about the continuously integration and deployment. CI and CD is a old topic actually. We run the CI and CD from the last year actually. So on that part, we also use like the third-party service like the Trap CI, GitHub is a payment. It's need to pay, right? And we also use the AWS code deploy to do that. But in the middle of this, we use like the Fastlane. It's quite small, the Fastlane, to do the beta app deployment. So actually, this cut all the right things. Okay, and we also use Appian to do the automatic mobile test. So you can imagine it's quite good for the developers. So so far, HK01 have a main team in Hong Kong. We also have some brother company developer team in Shenzhen and Beijing. So sometimes they do the same project in the regions, across the city. So their communication is good, but not good enough actually. So how we maintain the code quality, how we to deliver that, so it's all depends on this system. If your developer have some code, they commit to the GitHub, they will do code review each other. If the code review passed, the code will merge to the master, and this merging action will trigger the automatic test. So far, our test coverage is not good enough, but we still try our best to add the test coverage. After the test fully passed, it will build the package by themselves. It's push using AWS code development to push to the web server, API server service, and also build a beta build like to the App Store. So it's all automatic. After our QA engineer do the standing test on the standing server and the beta app, our PM will trigger a launch button, then launched. So if have some problem during the whole process, you can say that logo is Slack. How many people use Slack in your company? Quite a few. Okay. Slack. If the Slack is a very good communication tools, IM tools actually for developers. It can integrate much more tools. So Slack help a lot. If one of our engineer broken the unit test test case, so Slack will tell us, okay, your code inline 100 broken the whole process. You have to do that. If the whole process runs smooth, Slack will ping us, like they have a robot to ping us, okay, our new build is ready, and fully pass the test, you can trigger the button. So it helps us to save a lot of time to test, to build package, deploy. Our engineer only focus on the thing they want to focus to do. They're happy. So it's quite recommend to do that. But this also need to take time to build that. Maybe you need to find a CI/CD expert to build that around 3 months. Even you don't want to use the chart CI, you can use the open source to install it. Jenkins is quite famous and it's quite useful. Okay, this is our CI/CD part. That part is our data infrastructure part. In the previous slide, I showed how data help HK01 on business. It helps us on the data dashboard, help us on the business decision, help us on the which feature we're moving on, help us on understand our users, help us on to recall the inactive user come back. We separate the data infrastructure for 4 stages. The first stage is tracking. Second is infrastructure. The third part is processing. The last part is application, is the usage, right? We track the data. We used to track all of data in the GA, but if your company is quite small and your traffic is not that big, GA is a free and a very good tools to do that. But the HK01 have 1 million users, unique users per month, so our data volume is quite bigger than GA. GA free on limitations. So GA will sampling your events, so you cannot get whole the events from GA. That's why we try to build our own data tracking floor. So anyone know which is PVKey? No one know that. That's very good. You know that. Okay, PVKey is open source tracking service, but PVKey have their own problem. PVKey only supports small scales. They cannot support the large scales. Once the QPS is more than maybe 10K, the PVKey cannot handle this. So HK01 do some orange job to contribute on PVKey, make it scalable, make it can be a cluster. So we use PVKey to do our data tracking. And that's the AWS part. We use API gateway, Kinesis, and S3 to store our raw data. But you also can use open source to do that. Like you use the Kafka to replace the Kinesis, right? And on the processing part, we use Spark. We use Apache Airflow to manage the whole jobs. We use the AWS EMR. You can also use Hadoop 2 to do that, even the HBase to do that. And after process, the aggregate data will store in the Apache Redshift. It's like a column-based database. So if you don't want to use AWS, so you can also use the open source to do that, like Program Cycle, Cassandra, HBase can do the same things. So for your help, so you can choose anything. The last part is a bit covered. Is this is a metabase, is a dashboard to give your vision to show your data. Someone will know the mixed panel. Actually, metabase is mixed panel is a pay services. Is help you to analyze your user funnel. Actually, metabase can do almost same things to that, but you need to do more to build your own data view. And the common one is TensorFlow. We use it to do some deep learning things. So far, we use this to do analyze which user will leave HK01. Like we have some user data, and some user will delete our app. We try to predict which kind of actions to trigger the user delete his app. And when we can predict it, we'll give the user benefit or something to that user to maintain this. It's quite interesting. So that's the whole our data infrastructure of HK01. And the last one in the abstract of this talk, we mentioned the React Native. Actually, React Native is really good technology. It's developed very fast. Facebook and Microsoft are behind the React Native, and there's a very strong community to do that. So as I know, HK01 is one of the earliest app to build on the React Native. We are not the first white mouse of this technology. When I saw the Airbnb is fully built on React Native and show their performance. So okay, I thought this is a time to move a tail technology. When in my primary company, we do the apps have some pain point. It like when we want to do a new features, almost floor is like, okay, we build an API for that, and we launch an iOS version. After some times, we build an Android version. Most of companies use that floor. But after Android and iOS version launched, it's not exactly same. Always have some difference between the versions. So, and we need to hire like the back engineer, hire the iOS native and Android engineer for that. But after React Native, so we can use the almost same team to do the whole things. Some people will concern about the performance and maybe some wraps on the React Native is a new technology. Yes, it has some wraps, so I will show that. This is the good things of React Native. You just see that it's okay. It helps you develop fast, help you make your team as a same team. It's not like an iOS team, Android team, web team is a same team. And it's developed very, very fast. So far, every month we'll have a new version about that. So when you develop a React Native app, there are some tips. First one, you need to care about the third-party libraries or modules. In iOS, the most popular 100 libraries already have 95% support React Native, but still have 5% didn't support that. In Hong Kong, most of app will add display ad in your apps to gain some money for your company. Most of the ad company ad network is quite slow. So when you integrate the ad libraries, it's very painful. I will not mention the ad network name, but it's very painful. You need to take care about that. And React Native cannot do some native action, like the Android back button is quite hard to do that. You need to handle this. And if you want to do the mixed development, like the Android, React Native, even H5 development, so need to care about those technologies bridge. So sometimes it's slow. Another pain point is because React Native is grow very fast. So if you migrate your whole app from an old version to a new version, don't make it too long. Like you already have like 5 versions didn't catch up. It's very hard to catch up. So I recommend you need to catch up every version. Then you can give your life developer cycle very, very well. So actually, that's my sharing today. Is just a briefing for how HK01 from traditional media to a digital media, and a digital media to our internet company. So both third-party services and the open source help us a lot. It's helped us to save quite a lot resources. It helped us save quite a lot time. But the most important is mindset. Open source means open mindset. You need to learn, to try, to verify the new things, and try to use that. And if you want to do some more detail, so these three guys from my team, they'll have some sharing in the following 2 days about data from Wang, about the video streaming player from Sunday Gu, about the React and Thing rendering from Ivan Ha. Again, I do an advertiser here. So my team is still hiring, and my team is the engineering culture team. If you want to work with great people, I'm not great people, my team is. You just scan this QR code, you can see our hiring site. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? Questions?
So, your team has used microservices, and I've had experience that users always want to generate some reports. So they may want to have.
That's it. Okay.
Why? Sorry.
Hello.
Let-
Hello. Hello.
Let me try to.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
That's good.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You team about your infrastructure is using the microservices, and I would like to know if any users, business users, so that they may want to generate some reports. So in microservices, the data are distributed in their own microservices. So how your team make consolidate all this data? So
that's a great question. Yeah. Microservices run and scaling individually. Their data is on their part. But we also have a microservice. It's actually a set of microservices is named the data service. So when we do we do a common microservice, we do a vault microservice. So their data will, I require, it's a rule of my team. If any product or service want to launch, it have to integrate with data. It have to integrate with data tracking. Otherwise, you cannot be launched, right? Because if you launch that, you have no data. You don't know it's successful or not. You don't know we on a right way or bad way, right? So we have a unique interface to collect those data. And all the data will store in, we say that name the data lake, actually. Here. So all the things is, can you see that? Is a data lake. And there's all of the raw data of that. And this data lake is, how to say, storage by column, something like this, is by the user's dimension, or by the service dimension, or by other dimension. It's all the data lake. When we want to analyze something, we run the processing part. All the aggregate of the process part will storage in a column-based database. Whatever, we use Redshift, you can use anything. And the report will gen from the column-based database. We use the metabase. You can use other things to do that. You can write your own, like the Sequel-like language to do that. Using pig, using anything, whatever you do. So it's like, so I say the technology is not only for technology. It's about the mindset. If you have the data mindset, if you have the open mindset, your team, most of people have this. So it can get more smooth to do that. Okay? Does that answer your question? Any other question?
One more question. Anyone? Okay. If no more questions.
Okay, thank you very much.